Hey there, A's Day fans. Welcome to our Friday edition of our show. I'm your host, Joe Grado. I want to thank you for taking the time to kick off your weekend with us. On today's show, we are going to recap what went down in the Motor City as the A's kicked off their road trip by battling the Tigers over a three-game set at Comerica Park. Today, they get set to start off a weekend in the Bronx, the Boogie Down Bronx, as the A's travel to New York after the day game to commence or to culminate their previous series, kicking off a three-game set over the weekend against the New York Yankees. So lots to talk about, and then also want to remind everyone that our Bases, Barrels, and Ball Players podcast is officially back. You can also listen to shows on similar platforms on the same podcast, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, just like you do for A's Day, as well as the Bases, Barrels, and Ball Players YouTube channel. We'll be sure to have more details around that at the end of today's show. Lots to unpack. A's are traveling east at the time of this recording amidst a difficult road trip. So lots to talk about. We're excited to see how the A's come out by week's end after this six-game tough test. So without further ado, holy Toledo, let's go A's. Let's talk about the green and gold. All right. Thank you again for kicking off your Friday, kicking off your weekend with us here at A's Day as we give you our thoughts on everything happening with the A's. With that, before we get into the recap of the three-game set with the Tigers, just as a reminder, you can find us on our social media platforms on Instagram at A's Day Baseball, on X, formerly known as Twitter, at A's Day Baseball, on our YouTube channel at A's Day Podcast, and to be an official subscriber, be sure to check us out on our Patreon site, patreon.com/A's Day. For just $2 a month, you'll be entered to win monthly A's Day t-shirt giveaways, A's autographed memorabilia, future A's game tickets, and so much more as we are able to grow this platform collaboratively. Without further ado, let's get right to it as game one kicked off on Tuesday after the Monday day off with a very intriguing pitching matchup as Luis Severino, one of the game's best road pitchers in 2025, would be tasked on going up against the 2024 AL Cy Young Award winner, Tariq Skubal. Game would kick off initially with a major rain delay. Eventually, the tarp was removed, and we would have baseball. In the first, the A's would kick off the scoring as A's Day's home run prediction is correct right out of the gate. In that first, Brent Rooker smashes a no doubt two-run home run to left off Skubal, his 16th on the year. All out and early, it's 2-0 A's. However, in the bottom half of that first, the Tigers would have an answer right back. As the home run derby seemed to be on, Kerry Carpenter with a two-run home run to right center to tie this game right away at 2 after 1. A's would get right back to work off of Skubal, surprisingly, in the second with 2 outs after a Soderstrom single. Denzel Clark would smash a two-run home run to center field. He's been winning all of these electric plays of the week awards. I do think he just racked in his fourth. He's normally taking away homers. He hits one here for himself as well. A's are back in front 4-2. In the bottom of the third, the Tigers would have a major offensive response. A 2-run double by Perez, a 3-run homer by Dingler, a 5-spot in total off of Sevy in that third inning. After 3, it's 7-4 Tigers. Sevy would work through 5, and that would be all. Certainly not his best. He would go 5 innings in this one, 7 hits allowed, 7 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Tigers would add 2 more in the 7th and 8th, each apiece. A's offense couldn't muster anything else off of Skubal and company out of the bullpen. This one, ball game over. Tigers win 11-4 and are the first team in MLB to 50 wins. So Sevy just didn't have it, and the Tigers, they're a good team, and they're doing it pretty well on both sides of the baseball, and they showed their depth, and they showed their stamina in this game. And the A's jumped out to a quick lead against Skubal. They had 2 quick answers off of them via two-run home runs, one by Rooker and Clark. So that was definitely an exciting start to this one, but the A's couldn't muster up anything else from there. And, obviously you can only do so much against a pitcher like Skubal in that quality. And That's a great answer to come out of the gate in that series to put up four quick ones against them. Unfortunately, Sevy couldn't use those early runs and hold the Tigers off the board. Like I said, they are a potent lineup. They are one of the better teams in all of baseball. So certainly not an easy challenge there. But you would have liked for Sevy to use that 4-run lead to at least give them a better chance to win this one. Finally, he has a poor road performance. Up until that point, I believe he had only given up 4 or 5 runs on the road in total. So this one will inflate the road ERA a little bit. But nevertheless, Sevy had been good on the road, not his best work in this one. Tigers just kept adding on late, too, to really put this one away. Exciting stuff early, but a disappointing outcome. A lot of early promise, so you love to see that out of this young A's lineup against a top quality pitcher. The way you keep, you know, having a consistent performance like that against high caliber pitchers like that is building off those at bats throughout the game and making adjustments along with the pitching adjustments that Scooble made to limit the damage that he was giving up the rest of the way. Rooker, he had an absolute blast. The tape measure shot to left, he knew it right away. He struck a pose. He knows, when he gets, so he kind of leans back in the swing a little bit. It was a majestic shot, and it was a really nice way to kick off this series and this game. Would have loved for the A's to continue to ride that momentum, but unfortunately, they came out on the wrong end of this one. We're not able to muster much after the initial 2 frames. So it would be on to game 2 to see if the A's could answer and tie the series up, as they would be sending Jacob Lopez to the mound up against Jack Flaherty. Not a ton of action in this one, aside from timely hitting, some good pitching, and some good defense. If you're into those things, this was your type of game. In the 3rd inning, the A's would get the scoring going via a Nick Kurtz 3-run home run. His hot power hitting continues. It's his 11th of the year, and one of his 3 hits on the day. It's 3-0 A's. Jacob Lopez, well, ever since he entered the rotation, he's been quite brilliant and consistent. He was brilliant again in this one. Not a blemish for him in the run column. Lopez would last 7 innings, 3 hits allowed, no runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks. Manager Mark Kotze would hand it to Kelly for the 8th, who would put up a 0 before Miller time in the 9th. Riley Green, strike 3. Spencer Torkelson, strike 3, before a Perez ground out to shortstop to end this one. Lopez to Kelly to Miller. Ball game over. A's win 3-0 and tie the series up at 1 apiece. So Nick Kurtz continues to come through with runners in scoring position and runners on in general. His hot inning since his return from the IL continues. He's responsible for all 3 of the runs today, driving them on that 3-run home run in the 3rd inning. It's such a joy watching him pitch, and his plate coverage and the amount of time his barrels in the zone is quite impressive. More and more, he just looks like a more polished hitter as compared to a prospect. And he gets his 11th on the year, and that's limited action. So I'm excited to see where he ends up by year's end, but definitely comes through in the clutch for the team, and that sets the tone. And that's all Lopez needed in this one. That's all the A's needed to ride the victory, the 3-0 victory. And speaking of Jacob Lopez, another impressive performance. I think he has solidified his stay in this rotation for the foreseeable future. 7 shutout innings. The Tigers were flailing at his stuff all day. He was doing a good job of working ahead, really limited damage in this one, and kept putting up 0 after 0. So wanted to shout him out. Absolute standout and impressive performer for the A's in this one. So this is a good test for this young team so far. And I do think they're answering the bell well, all in all. Game 1, they had that early start and tough finish, but they showed they can battle against the Cy Young Award winner. Then they bounce back on the road and win a game in convincing fashion, not necessarily a blowout or anything, but it just felt like between their pitching and the timely hitting and the good defense, the good quality formula that good teams need to be successful over the long duration of a season. It showed up, and I do think against MLB's best, the Tigers, who are the first 250 wins, I think the A's are holding their own. So you would love to see how it would carry over and see if they can win a championship-type series on Sunday for that day game, as Jeffrey Springs would be tasked for taking the mound for the green and gold. He'd be going up against Dietrich Enns. Tigers would get the scoring this time going, and this one started via a Spencer Torkelson solo home run. It's 1-0 Tigers. In the 3rd, they would get 2 more via a Jahmai Jones 2-run double. It's 3-0 Tigers. It would remain that score until the 7th. That's all Springs would allow. Springs, he went 5 innings in this one, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 3 Ks. On to the 7th against JT Ginn. Gleyber Torres blasted a 2-run home run to right field, an oppo blast. It's now 5-0 Tigers. They would get 3 more in the 8th just for good measure. The A's offense only generated 3 hits and 2 walks in this one. Not going to get it done. They were in a factor from start to finish. Some good pitching. Hats off to the Tigers. Ball game over. Tigers win this one 8-0 and take 2 of 3 in the series. So Jeffrey Springs, he pitched well enough to give the A's an opportunity to win this one. You would have liked to maybe have him work one more, but obviously the pitch count getting close up to 90, 100 range. Don't want to work him too hard. But this is more on the A's offense just being non-existent from pitch one. And shout out to Enns. He gets the start. He wasn't necessarily the probable pitcher going into this series, but he answers the bell and gives them 5 shutout innings, and the A's had no answers. I mean, they only generated 5 base runners, so can't even talk about how they performed with runners in scoring positions because the opposition or the opportunities weren't there. So just a disappointing finish to this one. I do think they had good fight in games 1 and 2, and game 3 just didn't seem like it was their day on travel day. But now they are set to head to New York for the weekend to take on the New York Yankees in the 3-game set. They are now 33-50 and remain last in the American League West. They are just past the halfway point of the season, so we will see what that the second half has in store for them to see if they can play some winning baseball. And that is going to be a topic of discussion for Monday's show, and we don't want to give too much away, but we're just going to give our overall analysis of the A's for their first half performance since we are at that point. So a little content to look forward to at the end of this weekend after they are done in New York. But before we get to our A's Yankees preview, we want to thank one of our partners for giving us the opportunity to grow with our platform and give us an opportunity to continue to provide you good content, and as well as an opportunity to grow our platform by interacting with current and new subscribers and fans of A's Day everywhere. So once we do a quick ad read for Drake's Brewing Company, we will be back to business doing a preview before getting on out of here. So don't go anywhere. We will be back after this. Drake's, the barn, is a landmark 2-acre community gathering spot featuring food, beer, wine, cocktails, and entertainment along the river in West Sacramento's Bridge District. Relax with friends and family in the beer garden on beach chairs with lawn games in the large open meadow, around a fire pit, or underneath the wing of this architectural landmark. Join them for Camp Drake's specials at the barn and get more Drake's for your buck. Enjoy an elevated experience at the Wing Cocktail Lounge, the barn's intimate indoor space, where you can savor their specialty menu with both vintage and cult cocktails to match the season. The Wing is typically open during regular business hours, though they also welcome private banquet reservations for those looking to host a bespoke gathering. So be sure, if you're heading out to West Sacramento, located a mere stone's throw away from Sutter Health Park prior to an A's game, be sure to check out Drake's Brewing Company, Drake's the Barn, for a good time to kick off your weekend or your game day in West Sacramento. All right. We are going to get back to business here and get to our preview of the A's Yankees 3-game set. So on the 2025 season, the Yankees are coming in 12 games over 500 with a 46-34 record, which has them in first place in the American League East Division. They are led by manager Aaron Boone, and in their previous series, they actually lost 2 out of 3 on the road against the Cincinnati Reds. They dropped game 1 by a 6-1 decision before losing a heartbreaker 5-4 in game 2, before rebounding in the rubber match and winning convincing fashion 7-1. On the year, offensively, they rank in 8th in all of baseball in terms of offensive team batting average. They're hitting .255 on the year. They've slugged 121 home runs, which is second in all baseball, just behind the Los Angeles Dodgers. They've scored 407 runs, which is 4th in baseball. They're doing it pretty consistently on the mound too as well. They have logged a 3.47 team ERA, which is 6th in baseball. They've logged 737 strikeouts, which is 2nd, and they've allowed 257, which is right around league average, which is the 16th in all of baseball. So right around average in terms of walks allowed, which is a great improvement to what they have done in years prior. All right, and now going to give you 4 hitters to keep an eye on over the weekend as the A's battle the Yankees. So first, the story of the team, Probably the biggest figure in all of baseball, at least the biggest right-handed hitter. Aaron Judge, right fielder, he's hitting 361 on the year. Talk about having a year with 28 home runs, 63 runs batted in, and a 1.180 OPS and a 5.3 WAR. He is having a heck of a season. Paul Goldschmidt, the first baseman, he's hitting 288 on a year with 8 home runs, 32 RBIs, and a 778 OPS. In center field, you have Trent Grisham, who's having a breakout campaign. He's hitting 251 on the year with 15 home runs, 32 RBIs, and an 831 OPS. And rounded out by third baseman Jazz Chisholm Jr. He's hitting 242 on the year, 11 home runs, 30 RBIs, and 804 OPS. And now we will give you the expected pitching matchups and game times. We know all the game times, but we only know 2 of the Yankees that are probable starter at the time of recording. We'll update you on social media once we are made aware. So for game 1, which is tonight, Friday night, Mitch Spence will be going up against Will Warren. That is a 4:05 p.m. Pacific start time. Game 2, Saturday, J.P. Sears, the former Yankee, will be going up against Clark Schmidt. That is a 10:05 a.m. Pacific time start time, so an early start over the weekend for us out here in California. And then game 3, another former Yankee, another revenge game. Luis Severino, Sevy Day, will be on Sunday going up against, well, we don't know. To be determined. That is scheduled for a 10:35 a.m. Pacific time start for first pitch. All right, let's get to know our expected opponents on the mound that we know. So Friday night started tonight. Will Warren, he is coming in with a 4-4 win-loss record and a 4.66 ERA. In 75 and a third innings pitched, he's allowed 69 hits, logged 96 strikeouts, 31 walks, and a 1.33 WHIP. In his last start, got the win against the Orioles. He lasted 6 and a third innings pitched, 6 hits allowed, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. Warren likes to work with his 5-pitch mix in terms of his pitching repertoire. He works with a fastball, sweeper, sinker, changeup, curveball. He generates strong swing and miss, so a pretty decent K percentage at 29.4, which is 88th percentile in all baseball according to Baseball Savant, and his whiff percentage is 27.6, which is 67th, so he's in the top 2/3 in terms of all qualified pitchers. He has continued to show improved command, especially as compared to his first showing in 2024. He induces a lot of ground balls. He's around the 43% or 43% in that area, which I believe is in the 60th or 70th percentile, according to Baseball Savant. Work because the way he works and sequences consistently the sinker sweeper combo. It's very effective, especially against same-handed hitters. That's tough to say. What I'm meaning to say is right-hand pitchers versus right-handed hitters versus right-handed pitchers. There we go. That's a mouthful to say. So right on right. Fastball can certainly move to both sides of the plate. So that's definitely something where it can make life difficult on a hitter to be able to sit on the one location, especially if it's moving it to two different directions based on pressure points, but also working into different quadrants of the zone. So that's how Warren is able to increase his effectiveness in terms of his development. He is a young pitcher. He can't go through tough stretches as we've seen. He is very tough on right-handed hitters, but can definitely be quite susceptible to lefties. And there's quite a career gap in terms of offensive performance. So look for the left-handed hitters on the A's to have some success potentially in this one. And then the Saturday starter, Clark Schmidt, he comes into the year. He is part of the top of the 3-headed monster for the Yankees starting rotation of Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, and Clark Schmidt. He is in the midst of his breakout performance, 4-3 on the year with a 2.84 ERA. In 69 2/3 innings pitched, he's allowed 48 hits, logged 65 strikeouts, 26 walks, and a 1.06 WHIP. In his last start, he's coming off a real good one. He threw 7 no-hit innings, no runs allowed, 2 walks, 5 Ks. The reason why they pulled him is because he was at 103 pitches. He works with a 6-pitch mix: cutter, curveball, sweeper, slider, sinker, fastball. There is a lot of red on Baseball Savant. Again, when I've said this in other previews before, red, bleeding red on Baseball Savant means you're one of the game's best. His expected ERA of 2.67 is in the 92nd percentile of all baseball. His expected batting average against is 200, which is 94th in the 94th percentile in all baseball. Barrel percentage 5.4, which is 86th percentile. and hard hit percentage of 34.1 is in the 85th percentile. He certainly will be probably the toughest customer that the A's will face this weekend. Again, not sure who the Yankees will be throwing out there on Sunday. We'll surely know sooner rather than later. Definitely a career breakout before our eyes. He's working deeper into games in terms of Clark Schmidt's development. That was his MO, that he has nasty stuff. He's able to generate a lot of strikeouts, but had difficulty working past the fifth or sixth inning. So he's working into the seventh inning more and more, and he's showing a lot of that consistency to deepen that Yankees rotation. His breaking ball, it's nasty, but that's where he can be susceptible. It can be inconsistent with command. So look to see if the A's can utilize that pitch up in the zone and do some damage before Schmidt really settles into this one. All right, let's make a couple of predictions. Then we have a quick reminder before getting on out of here. So we are going to make a home run prediction. We were right in the last series against the Tigers as Brent Rooker came through for us and hit a home run in the first inning of the first game. Would love if the A's were able to do this once again, as we are going to predict that Lawrence Butler is going to hit a home run in Yankee Stadium. We do think with the right-handed pitching probables that left-handed hitters are going to have the potential to have some success here. I do think Butler, who is seeing an uptick in extra base hits, is going to get one potentially in that short porch. We will have to see over the weekend. In terms of series prediction, we do believe that the A's will drop this series as well. We do think that the Yankees will take 2 out of 3. We think the Yankees will win game 1 7-3. We think that the Yankees will win game 2 6-0. For the A's salvage this series and take the rubber match of the 3-game set on Sevy Day, Sevy gets his revenge against his old team, and A's will win 5-2. All right, before we get on out of here, just want to give you a reminder that today is the day that we are officially bringing back bases, barrels, and ball players. You can listen to our platform on the same areas that you listen to A's Day podcasts as well. Wherever you see the bright yellow logo, you'll be able to listen to us. You'll be able to check us out on the Bases, Barrels, and Ball Players YouTube channel too as well. So be sure, if you are interested in, if you're just a baseball fan and want to hear our thoughts on more than just the A's and covering as much of the 30 teams and minor league organizations as we can, be sure to check us out on that platform. We would appreciate the follows, the subscriptions, all of that good stuff, because we want to grow both platforms and turn it into an independent baseball universe. So just want to remind you, today is the day that our first episode is back. It is out there. It is live. So be sure to enjoy that. More baseball content for all of you, the lovely audience. And we'll have more details about that with any player interviews that we're able to land, any giveaways, things like that, because we want you to be able to enjoy both sides of the coin and enjoy as much baseball content as you can. Because we'll be talking about some A's over on that side too as well. And A's Day is going to continue on as scheduled. All right. And with that, that's another show, another edition of A's Day complete. We discussed what went down in the Motor City earlier in the week as the A's dropped 2 out of 3 to the Tigers. Some early promise in game 1 before a tough outcome against Skubal, before bouncing back in game 2, winning and losing the rubber match day game, where the offense seemed to sleepwalk through it. So they lost 2 out of 3. They are now in New York, in the Bronx, to take on the New York Yankees over the weekend in a 3-game set to conclude a tough road trip east. First pitch is scheduled for 4:05 Pacific time, and then we went over the start times and pitching matchups. And knowing the enemy of the team stats and rankings, made our home run prediction, as we do believe that Lawrence Butler is going to hit a home run over the weekend. And we do believe that the Yankees are going to grab this series and take 2 out of 3, culminating with the A's winning the rubber match on Sevy Day 5-2. We'll see if we're right. Hopefully the A's are able to end this road trip on a positive note and win a series in a tough environment. I'm looking forward to recapping it with all of you on Monday. Then we also provided a reminder that Bases, Barrels, and Ball Players, our media platform, where we are going to be discussing everything baseball in terms of news surrounding all 30 teams and minor league organizations too as well. Our first episode is back as of today, so be sure to check that out on their similar platforms wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts as well as the Bases, Barrels, and Ball Players YouTube channel. That's all on Monday. Stay tuned as we are going to do a first half recap. We're going to grade the A's on their first half performance. We're going to have different parameters, so we're going to be changing it up a little bit before we get into the series recap of how things went down against the Yankees over the weekend, and then we'll preview the next series for the green and gold. So lots for us to unpack on Monday's show. We're excited to be continuing to pump out the content for each and every one of you that come in and tune in to listen to A's Day 2 times a week on a weekly basis. We can't thank you enough. We appreciate each and every one of you for every second you spend with us. And speaking of that, no more time with us on this show. That's all we have for today. Go out, enjoy your weekend. Be sure to check out some A's Yankees baseball over the weekend. If you're on the East Coast, be sure to head to Yankee Stadium on 161st Street. You'll be sure to have a great baseball experience for sure. But for those of us out here, enjoy it on the television over the weekend. Hopefully have a happy podcast on Monday. So have a good weekend, everyone. Once again, I'm your host, Joe Grado. Appreciate each and every one of you spending your time with us. And we look forward to getting back behind the mic and meeting again on Monday. So have a good weekend. Be well, everyone. And Holy Toledo, let's go A's.